Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Before I start to speak, I humbly seek this instruction of Mataji. I don't have any eligibility or qualification to speak here. Now, all the senior devotees here. I'm just trying to repeat what Charyas has said. Please forgive me for any shortcomings, and please pray for me so that I can speak something meaningful today. So today we are reading the verse. Chapter 1, chapter 3, verse 18. Chaturdasam Narasimham Vipradaitendram Urchitam Dadara Karache Pura Erakam Katakrityata Chaturdasam Narasimham Vipradaitendram Urchitam Dadara Karache Pura Erakam Katakrityata Chaturdasam Narasimham Vipradaitendram Urchitam Dadara Karache Erakam Katakrityata.
I'm sorry, what is the words?
1, 3, 18.
Yes, you give it a chant because I am looking for now.
Chaturdasham Narasimham
Vipradaitendram Urchitam
Dadara Karajairura Erakam Katakrityata
Chaturdasham Narasimham
Vipradaitendram Urchitam Dadara Karajairura Erakam Katakrityata. Translation. Chaturdasham.
Are you repeating what you?
Yes, thanks. Chaturdasham, the 14th in the line, Narasimham, the incarnation of the Lord as half human and half lion.
The incarnation of the Lord as half human and half lion.
Vipra, advented, Daitendram, the king of the atheists, Urjitam, strongly built, Dadara, bifurcated, Karajai, by the nails, Urav, on the lap, Erakam, kings, Katakrit, carpenter, Yatha, just like. Translation. In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Narasimha and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails just as a carpenter pierces king. Chaturdasham narasimham viprate daitendram chitam adara karachelura erakam katakrityata. So this chapter is discussing about the incarnations of the Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So this chapter in Canto 1 is discussing about incarnations of the Lord. So this verse is particularly discussing about Lord Nrsimhadev, whom we worship almost every day as part of our morning prayers and during our Sunday feast too. So as we see all the incarnations like Lord Ram or any other incarnations as Lord has parents like Lord Rama, Dasharatha, Kaushalya, and even Krishna, Devaki, Vasudeva. But this peculiar incarnation of the Lord doesn't have a set of parents. So how Lord Nrsimhadev came? Lord Nrsimhadev came out of a pillar. Hiranyakashipu was so angry at his son because his son was so much into Krishna consciousness, he could not get him out of that. So he was trying to see how he can get his son out. So when he was so in such an angry mood, his son Prahlad Maharaj was looking at a pillar. So since his son is looking at a pillar, he angrily questions his son, do you think your Lord is in this pillar? Having a firm faith in Lord, Prahlad Maharaj said, yes, he can be anywhere, so he can be in this pillar too. So with so much anger, with his huge club, he breaks the pillar, and there comes Lord Nrsimhadev. So this incarnation of the Lord, just because of pure devotee call, he came out from a pillar. So Lord Nrsimhadev proves that God is everywhere. It's not that he has to be here, he has to be there. There is no definition. God can be anywhere. When he takes a human birth, like a human being, he enters into the womb of a human being. But that does not necessarily mean that he needs to act like a human being. He's a human being. For example, when he was taking birth as Krishna, when he was coming as Krishna, he entered the womb of Devaki. But it's just a conception because he appeared as a four-headed Lord Vishnu initially in front of Devaki and Vasudeva. Then he turned into a small baby. So it's the Lord's will that how he wants to be and where he wants to be. So Brahmasamhita says, Ekopyasau rachaitum jagadanta kotim yachaktirasti jagadanta chayayanta andantarastha paramanajayantarastam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. He is even within the atom. He can come out from anywhere, provided he is called by a pure devotee. For example, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came because of Advaita Acharya. And Lord Nrsimhadev came because of Prahlad Maharaj. So like that, whenever any pure devotee called, Lord made sure that he obliges his pure devotee's call and he comes. And he is all powerful. So he can, because he is all powerful and he can come from anywhere and everywhere. The word Narasimha, Nara means like a human being, but not act a human being. He's appearing like a human being. And the other part Simha means lion. So the Lord appeared as half man and half lion. And with his powerful nails, Lord Nrsimha killed the great atheist. Even though Hiranyakashipu knew all the scriptures, he couldn't believe God. That's why he's one of the strong and greatest atheists. So he was killed by Lord Nrsimha within few seconds. So before getting killed, Hiranyakashipu thought he covered all the parts. Like when he did the penance and got the rules from Brahma, he asked first, "Can I be immortal?" But Brahma said, "I am not immortal. How can I give you the benediction of being immortal? So ask me something else." So then Hiranyakashipu thought and asked all possible options. I should not be killed by a human being. I should not be killed by a demigod. I should not be killed by any weapon. I should not be killed by any animal. I should not be killed in daytime. I should not be killed in nighttime. I should not be, killed inside the house, outside of the house. He thought he covered everything, but he didn't remember there is something called twilight. He knew that. So because he has, he forgot that there is something else beyond that he can remember, beyond he can think. So that's where Krishna used his Maya to make him forget. So we think that we are very intelligent, For example, a layman's example, we are driving on a road. We want to speed up. We think, we look around everywhere. Think there is no car, so I can speed. And you hit the stop sign. You professional driver. Instead of counting 5, will count 1 and 2, then we'll move on. Immediately cop comes from the behind. You deserve a stop sign. Please pay $160. So like that, we think that we cover every aspect, but we cannot really think. With our limited knowledge and with our limited intelligence, we cannot really think of everything. And God is inconceivable, so we cannot challenge His intelligence. So we have to understand our limitations. If not, we think we ourselves are God, like how Hiranyakashipu did. Being the great atheist, Hiranyakashipu thought he is the Lord and everybody should come and worship him. So, but that's not the case, Even though he's all powerful, he was finished by Lord Nrsimha in a few seconds. So Krishna says, Sarvasya Chaham Sannishto Makta Smriti Jnana Bhoganam Cha. I am situated in everyone's heart. Memory, knowledge, forgetfulness, they are coming from me. So if you want to remember Krishna, God will facilitate. If you want to forget Krishna, God will also facilitate that. So what is the only job that is left to us? Is to surrender. So surrender to Krishna, because with our limited knowledge we try things. We are bound to fail if we don't follow the instructions given by Krishna. So simply understand that our intelligence, our knowledge is limited, and surrendering to Krishna will only make us go in the right path. So because of the small little intelligence and we become very proud. With the little knowledge we become very proud. We think that we know everything, and because of that, when Lord wants, He can give us anything. He can also take back anything anytime. Like we are seeing in many devotees, when we see that there are so material calamities, we think that when God can give everything, why is He taking away? Why is He putting through so many difficulties? But a pure devotee can only understand that God is taking away everything so that He can make me realize that I am only dependent on the Lord. Nothing else matters. So when Hiranyakashipu thought, I should be worshipped, please, I am God. But when he was finished in a second, then after that, Lord asked Prahlad Maharaj, you have gone through so many sufferings, you have gone through so many penances because of your father and because of you believing and doing what you want to. So, is there anything that I can do for you? Please ask me. Please ask me any benediction. Here, Prahlad Maharaj sets a very nice example to for us to understand. He says, I am not a businessman to do business with you just because I do penances, you will give me benedictions. I am only your servant and I aspire to be your servant. So I don't have any desires other than becoming the servant of your servant. So here Prahlad Maharaj sets an example for us that how we have to be in our devotion. So he says, but I am born from the father of a Rajoguna because Hiranyakashipu was completely in the mode of passion. So he says, that, so since I am born from the father like that, I might also have the same body with Rajoguna. So I might get immune. When you ask me like that, I might end up asking, please don't do so with me. You are so powerful. You can give me anything you want. But I don't want to do any business with you. I only want to be your servant. So because of that, Nrsimhadev becomes very happy. He says, yes, here is one true devotee. Here is one true devotee who really wants to do not want to do any exchange of business. He wants to only serve me. So then again, here he again asks that now at least you can ask me whatever desire you have in your mind. So again Prahlad Maharaj says, in this material world, my father was the most powerful person. But what happened to him? All his material power, what did he give him? Nothing. And he only got, because of his pride and because of his ego, what happened? He ended up being finished in your hand. So what does this material power do? So kindly engage me in your service and made me a servant of servant. So since he was a Vaishnava, he prayed to the Lord Nrsimha, but for my personal needs, I am very satisfied. But if you can give me anything, please forgive my father, who has committed so many sins. So that is the example of Vaishnava. Even though they go through so many difficulties, they never think that somebody is responsible for it. If they only think that it is their prarabdha karma or it is Lord's will that all these things are happening in our life. They never try to blame, they never put it in somebody's life saying that it is because of somebody's actions that I am going through these problems. So, when Prahlad Maharaj said that please forgive my father, Nrsimhadev became immensely pleased and said, since such a son is born in this family, all the 14 fathers before you are liberated because of are delivered because you are his son. So when a devotee takes birth in a family, then such is the mercy. So when whatever others are in the family, whether they have performed devotion or not, because a devotee is born in the family, all the 14 previous generations are delivered. So anyone who takes the strength of the lotus feet of the Lord, so the Lord also says, suppose if you do not do your duty in relationship to your country or family or any other things, but if you surrender yourself and you stick yourself to Krishna consciousness, all your resultant reactions or sinful activities are taken care of. All your occupational duties simply takes to Krishna consciousness. He is no more obliged to anything. So how does a devotee perform? He doesn't belong to any group or any activity. He simply performs his devotional service favorably to the Lord. Because he doesn't belong to any group, then he will say, what is that you want? If you ask a devotee, a pure devotee, he wants to say, I am the servant of the servant of the servant. And to the who? The maintainer of gopis, which is Krishna. So Baba Maharaj has set such an example, and Nrsimhadev has shown that whenever a devotee is in need, he is available to protect. He is there to protect. He will come no matter what in inconceivable ways. So Lord Nrsimhadev, appearance is such that through Prahlad we got so many instructions. So that's my short understanding of this verse. If Mataji, if you can add, or Mataji, if you can add, please.
Wonderful class.
Thank you,
I
Mataji.
missed out the first two, and I feel bad. So many classes I am missing because of something else happening. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mataji.
I was reminded of the first part of Bhagavad Gita, Duryodhana's presentation about his political genius addressing Dronacharya and presenting all his mental calculations about this war is, I have this army and Pandavas have that, and addressing Drona, telling about Drupada, and in a very mental way, he's planning the whole thing ahead of time. Even when in his heart of hearts he knew that this is not going to work out, against the conviction that is coming from inside himself, he's doing all these calculations. And the one factor he left out was Krishna factor. And as a result, by the end of the war, it was already, it turned against them. So, when we are thinking about our application in the present day world, we have so many problems, psychological problems, ecological problems. We have unlimited number of problems. People with the drugs and alcohol and illicit sex, intoxication, you name it, and depression, mental illness, and every single thing, and also the leaderships in general all over the world. Everybody is trying to present their viewpoint. It's somewhat like this Hiranyakashipu mentality or Duryodhana mentality. Just we can figure it out. One government comes in picture and they think we can figure it out this way. Another person comes, we can figure it that way. And nothing is getting solved just because of the factor that there is no God in the picture. And it doesn't look like that in a universal scale or at a country level or anything. Anything can be done to change that. However, at an individual level, each person can make a change, because each one of us have the same mental problem that we can solve this without God. But the moment you bring Krishna into the picture and the life is centered that way, and then all auspiciousness comes. And if each individual makes that change, and then there will be changes at universal scale. And therefore, Prabhupada's movement, which through the introduction of the philosophy and the discussion of this philosophy, every single day we share this with anyone, either through book distribution or through Bhagavatam class. It's a reinstating the value and reinstating the most important point, bring God into the picture, and then the problems which never get solved will get solved automatically. And so That's some thought which came to my mind. Just share it.
That reminded me when I was reading the verses of Parikshit Maharaj entering, when the Kali was entering. Prabhupada explains in the purport, if the administrator is not well educated in Shastra and scriptures, all it can cause is distress, all it can cause is chaos and dissatisfaction among the people, and problems can never be solved. It is only going to create more and more and more entanglement.
Yes, and interesting, since we're a small group, what is it? Yeah, where there is the discussion of these topics relating to Krishna. And we may be the most unqualified person to say anything, but still, because we are thinking about Krishna and meditating on Krishna's instructions and trying to speak a few words, always something comes out. So this is why, like the Sangha and having the discussion, Krishna-centered discussion, it improves the community as a whole. Yes. And from the community, the small group, it becomes like a bigger. So, so therefore, we have to generate that here. I mean, this Bhagavatam class is doing quite well. I feel like we have to take it, into our leadership activities, empowering. That can happen in this Sangha. And Srinivas Prabhu has been talking to me about this also, that every devotee in this community, we were trying to figure it out, a way how we can have someone's association or some guidance coming from a person, and none of us are super devotees, but someone who is thoughtful, sharing the message of Krishna, even among our own leadership, and then them sharing it with the rest. And that is the reason why Rohan Maharaj very clearly pointed out to me that within the community, every single devotee who is aspiring to take Diksha, who is serious about their spiritual life, must have a guide. And that guidance system, it's a different levels of guidance is there, but there has to be some guidance. Then if that be established here, this community will flourish, because Krishna factor is brought into it. Otherwise, what to speak about the mental speculators of this world, but even after coming into the process of Krishna consciousness, still, our mentality, which is like trying to address all the issues on the material platform without Krishna, it creeps in, whether we like it or not. But when we are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, this is the most purest thing, So at this point, consciousness is very clear, because you are coming in touch with Srimad Bhagavatam. But the moment you are away from Srimad Bhagavatam, the consciousness is somewhere else, and naturally there are problems. And it is applicable to devotees as well as those who do not practice also. So we need to create that here. This is, again and again, every single time you open Srimad Bhagavatam, this stares you on your face. This values. Yeah.
Thanks to the lesson, I was not taken seriously and really. I myself have to confess I am very bad reading. Only because of the class I look into the verses seriously and read, and can, at least remember few that I cannot forget, because I read a little bit deeper to understand and speak a little bit about it. So it is really helping me personally to understand and remember, and try to remember a few instructions through that.
I'm thinking that also the reading thing that we started, even if it is not that long, I would suggest maybe we can tweak it a little bit and give it a little less amount per day, so that what is happening is when somebody reads, at least it's my experience, I don't know how you are reading, the moment you start reading the translations, something suddenly comes to you, some particular translation, it's like you cannot let it go, and then you want to do back references and all that, and that naturally by getting into that habit of reading, you will look for substantial message, where it is in Bhagavatam. And so, if we create something like that, and maybe some kind of a system where people can say that, yes, I did read, within 1 year time we completed the whole Bhagavatam, I don't know, 20 times or whatever. If we can do that once. I mean, as a group, if we are not able to lift the whole hill by yourself, at least a little stone or something, you are lifting a little portion of it. The whole community can do that, while the leadership can do something little more than that, in the sense meeting and hearing and discussing. And then we make sure every devotee is under the care of some other devotee. In whichever fashion, it can be at the level of friends, or it can be at the level of a little bit of a senior or junior even. Maybe sometimes a little child is your guide. I'm sorry, I'm keeping on talking. You are saying something.
It all makes so much sense actually.
I don't know. Say something. Shri Kishore Das. Please, sir.
Yeah, maybe whatever you spoke is so true, Mataji. And I think if we look from the outside world, it appears that people always see, okay, this is another spiritual organization. It is not different from anything else. But after coming inside, we understand it is completely different. Prabhupada has given us so much that we relish what Prabhupada has given. It's not that just because of some rules and regulations we want to follow it. And especially in this civilization of, I should say, superficiality and wild experimentation. And that is what is going on around everywhere. Every small thing, raising children, experiment. Or, working dealing with people, experiment. Eating habits, experiment. So we don't have any guidance from the top, and right now being in movement of Prabhupada, I think Prabhupada has given us every small guidance which is needed for a happy and healthy life. And only thing what we need to focus on is that when we start, of course here and every other temple, we see that devotees are quite well bonded with each other. But then when these bonds are appearing to the outside world, like they are able to see from the outside world, these people are so well connected with each other. They are like a huge big family, and each of them respect each other, each of them love each other so much that they don't even care for themselves. When this mood actually people are able to see, and I think that is what attracts people to us. They come and they want to see what is happening here, such a miracle. And when they come and they are like, wow, I want to be a part of it. And that happens, I think naturally they will start practicing everything. And as Mataji was saying, when we have this smaller community, smaller groups of people, I think this is what we should focus on, establishing that kind of community that people can take an example from, okay, this is what I have to do to become happy. That is my small sharing.
I don't know what to say. But Nrsimhadev is the first Lord that I came to know as a child. Somehow, I think, at least I remember in my memory, when I was in elementary school, I used to go to a shloka class. Free, everything was free at that time. Everywhere there will be in ISKCON, there will be free shloka class, then that other temple will have free bhajans, and everything will be free. So then whatever is free, we don't have to worry. So I just go and sit there. We don't have to torture parents for money. So so we can go, and we will not be questioned also, because if there is money involved, then question comes. First we have to study well. All the things happen. There is no money involved. Go and sit wherever. So Nrsimhadev drama was something that they did. I was Prahlad Maharaj.
Wow!
I was Prahlad Maharaj.
Drama.
So that time onwards, I was thinking Prahlad Maharaj is such a wonderful person. So like small child can be so sense controlled. I mean, because the drama, like they told me to just keep quiet when everything is going on.
So they are teaching you sense control.
They were like, don't open your eyes, just just pray to the Lord and just keep your eyes shut. And I was like, okay.
How old were you?
Maybe 6 or 7 or maybe 7, maybe something. I don't know. I don't remember.
Alan
So, so it was really interesting, and so Nashinadev became it was very from early on. I didn't study or hear anything about Nashinadev, but it's like such an astonishing form, actually. Half man and half lion, and he's so furious. But still we worship, usually take shelter of a person who looks very kind and, loving and devoted. But he's so furious and ferocious, but we feel like his affection, no matter how furious he looks outside. So that is all because of Prabhupada's books, I feel, Because otherwise everybody says, Ugra Narasimha, don't keep at home, this, that, and all those kind of false conceptions. And so nobody has Narasimha's picture in their homes. They will have only this Yoga Narasimha, so they want God to be just sitting there and nothing else to be done. Whatever you ask, he has to fulfill, nothing else, he can't purify you, he cannot do anything, you just have to sit there and we also have to sit there. So that's the conception. But once Prabhupada books come, then God is in action. Every moment he is in action, he is an action hero, so he's not like a person who just sits there.
Actually, in many of the houses, the temple room is in one closet.
Yeah.
There's a small closet.
Yeah.
Where there is nobody who wants to do any business
A
there.
shelf in the kitchen,
Right.
countertop, or in the closet,
Where there is that's not a needed space.
That's not a,
That's not a needed space
Yeah.
where you can just.
So, like that, I was thinking Nashinadev is a very special incarnation. How Prabhupada brought him out for us, had made him more, approachable, and also like the way he is. That's how Lord is. We don't have to alter Lord based on our conceptions. He is who he is. We just have to understand Krishna more than questioning why he is like that. Why he is like that we can ask, but with a different mood. So that's something that I really appreciate about our Srila Prabhupada's books.
But I feel about the Ugra Narasimhadev, Ugra Narasimhadev worship definitely requires the highest standard, and one whole village in Karnataka state was wiped out because they did not worship. And so Prabhupada not only introduced it, it's really daring. How do you introduce worship of Ugra Narasimhadev and make sure that the devotees maintain those standards? And that cannot come from anyone who is not pure in heart. And because of Prabhupada's purity, he was able to implement the standards, and everybody is following it to this day. And we have Ugra Narasimhadev in Mayapur because I don't think that that standard can be maintained by any average persons, because they started that from the very beginning and continues. So when I first went to Mayapur, walking in the I did not read much about the whole the worship standards and all that needed to be followed, and all those things I came to know only later. But when I walked in Mayapur years ago, you see Narasimhadev first, right? Not Radha Madhava, later only. Walking there, you were magnetically attracted to Narasimhadev, and not even knowing anything much about him, but standing there, even though he is Ugra Narasimhadev, you feel the love and affection only there. I don't know what it is, but the deity himself is very pleased, and so whoever goes in front of him, he gives that type of a feeling. And then you turn around and then you see Radha Madhava. That was how it was. But but Prabhupada did that, establish that standard, the deity worship. And so I guess that is one of the greatest things
Yeah.
in which we need to follow in even small temples like this. That was my thing, which I sent a note today morning, that kitchen and deity worship standards, what Prabhupada gave us, there's a reason for it. And we got to maintain that in every temple. And like Srinivas was telling, looking at what you do, that's where others take inspiration. And we cannot do anything without that care and attention, particularly deity worship area. So we are going in that direction. So how do we get there? Global standard has to be maintained. But I mean, it's all an educational opportunity. So wonderful it is.
That, when you are talking, it reminded me of one of my encounters. My first darshana there was a very peculiar. There is one very remote place in Andhra. It's called Mallur. So we were very young, probably 9 or 10, 8 or 9. And this place had no steps, and Lord Lakshmi was all the way up. Probably like, if you measure it, it's probably 2 hills up. So there was no path to go up there. But few of us, my parents and another family, we all went. There were no steps. We somehow climbed up and figured out that there is no pujari. Pujari went to the village and he's drunk somewhere. So when we went and when we had no choice because it's a thick forest. So there were a lot of animals. And we could hear the sounds. So we came down and then we were trying, it was already 4 o'clock. There are 2 pujaris. It's a very peculiar temple. One is full, drunk, whatever are going on, nonsense. And the other person is a Sanskrit scholar who left everything just to worship the Lord. He's completely dedicated. So we are trying to find the other person. So somehow, fortunately, Krishna's mercy, we found this other pujari. And he took us back again. We climbed all up again. And we were wondering what is happening. We went up and this Sanskrit scholar Pujari he's reciting verses continuously and he's just non-stop. The moment he saw the deity and he's just in trance. So as a child, I was like, you always have to work, you study well, you get good job, you get settled very well. And I'm looking at him, this person left everything. Why is he staying? There's literally not even water in that place to drink. So anything has to be brought from down. And he will bring cook, and he will bring bhoga, everything up. And he told us that, because the previous pujaris did not do good worship, all the villages that are in front of the Lord's eyes, whichever villages were in front of Lord's eyes, got burnt. Every summer they got burnt. So then once he started the worship properly, following the right etiquette, that's when the whole, the destruction started. So as we were so awestruck that first of all, why is this person dedicated like that, and second, how can God burn villages? So that's a very interesting. We will never forget the whole trekking trip. Yes, but they did the Lakshmi Devi installation later. Yeah, the Basify.
Near Bhadrachalam.
In Varangal, near Varangal. So it's a very unique. It's deities in the wall, and the deity whenever it is going to rain, the deities will sweat. And whenever it's like hot weather, the deities kind of get the cracks. So the weather is imminently visible of the Lord. So he will show up ahead that what it is going to be. So it was a very unique experience we had.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Look at me, didn't say anything.
Yeah, please, Mataji. Few minutes, please.
Thank you, Mataji. It's always very short and sweet classes. The first time I heard Mataji, it was very inspiring. And Mataji, for your point when we are discussing among the devotees, definitely these classes, my respect and appreciation for each of the devotees who are directly coming or hearing through online, it increased so much, and which is actually helping my own sadhana as I'm cultivating that respect for the devotees in the congregation. My faith and appreciation for the process and the acharyas, just heart is so enlivening, it's so amazing. And on the reading part you were sharing, right? Just feeling so grateful for this opportunity. I was talking to some devotees who are like from different places who don't have this kind of association. They don't have these kind of opportunities. And the kind of festival we had, the kind of attendance, each of them they were sharing. We just knocked on someone's door to door and we just shared they received the set. And I said, if you're inspired, you could read until Bhadra Purnima. It was like 12 or 13 days. She said, okay. She said, can I read on my own or should I tell you? I said, if you could tell, that's nice. So every day she reads at a particular time and then she used to post, Mataji, I have completed today's these verses. And yesterday she was sharing, I cannot actually express what I was feeling for these 10 days reading. And initially she started with translations and then she liked her books also. And it's just, as you're saying, Srimad Bhagavatam, it's so, attracting. The first time when I was used to hear from the devotees in book distribution, I was like, okay, maybe, but I could not really understand what it really meant. Yeah. But as we started experiencing, it's just so amazing. And on that point, I was actually talking to Amshirari Prabhu to see if we can really have that, group reading as a community. Because many devotees, they were expressing that. It's so nice, we want to continue.
We are planning something, and I think we will have the initiated devotees meeting also very soon. Satyrupa, I was talking to her, I was talking with him something else. And so let us put together a very cohesive structure, very systematic approach, so that definitely this reading thing, what Vamsadari started, we have to continue. But maybe we'll reduce the quantity of
to bring a structure to it more, because that was focused on a short.
But maybe for a year, maybe between now and the next budget, we will plan divide the thing. I know I was so shocked, one surprised. How do you do these computer things? Like, how do you divide? For me, it will be like with my hand I will have to calculate. I don't think he has certainly some kind of a mechanism by which he was able to calculate this many verses.
And he picked, for me actually he helped me and my mother, I think few other devotees, he took a screenshot of what we have to read alone.
He gave it for me too.
Most of the devotees. That was helpful for me actually.
I couldn't even open the whole document.
And on top of it, my mom took a diary and she wrote everything, seeing that she wrote everything, so she can tick mark. So
it was actually so helpful because I was reading at work. So there was another colleague sitting with me. So I said, okay, I have to read some verses. Is it okay? So she said, yeah, fine. So she was actually working with me. So I was teaching her something. So I said, okay, lunchtime we will just read. Okay, to whatever today's verses are. Third day she started, can we read? So every day we read all the verses together. So she would just close her eyes, listen to the verses, read, listen to the translation and purport. Oh, this is so nice. She especially heard the verse that Prabhupada purport was all about the administration, how the good administration can take care of the country. And she's like, man, people, I wonder, if all the administrative, whoever is doing in the government reads these things. And I said, yeah, everything is in there, it's just people who have to come and read. And she was like, every day, without fail, Monday through Friday, she would ask me, if I make 5 minutes, okay, it's lunchtime, let's start reading.
She got the Bible book set?
Yes, she has. She has. Yeah, she was very appreciative of that. She comes and she actually helps me in making the garlands and everything. And during Janmashtami time, so and any program happens, she usually comes. So, but this time she was really appreciative of reading books. I was very skeptical, because they are all into the different organizations, different type of celebrations and everything. So I'm not sure if she would really appreciate it. So that was a very surprising and
So that is the thing, we should not have any doubt at all. Because we should carry on our process. And like what he said, seeing that they will develop the real text.
Yes.
So anyway, we will strengthen ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello, Kumari.
Yeah.